Time to preview the best matchups of week 5 of college football. And there are a lot of good ones, but we're going to focus on the big three. Let's start with number 4 LSU at number 13 Ole Miss. This is a 2:30 kickoff on ABC. Ole Miss is currently a 1.5 point favorite. Are you surprised that they're favored in this game?
Uh, no. I think that
The odds makers have seen Trinidad Chambliss ball.
that's right.
That guy looks incredible.
I think that at least my feeling is that LSU is in a weird spot right now, and it's hard to know what exactly to make of them. And the fact that it's at Ole Miss, you give them a little bit of an edge. At least what we now know today, Ole Miss is the most complete football team that LSU will have faced, right? And with the offense that they've got, defense is playing pretty well, also physical. I mean, it's not a shock to me that they're just a slight favorite considering it's at home
Yeah, I
during the
think
day, not a night game, as Kiffin pointed out. But I think I'm kind. That's about where I am. I think Ole Miss wins a really close one.
I I think they're favored because Ole Miss's offense with Trinidad Chambliss at quarterback has looked really, really good. It has looked more explosive and more efficient than Garrett Nussmeier and that LSU offense have at any point this season. So Kiffin has to roll with Chambliss, right? Like
Oh,
even once Simmons did not look good when he got in the game. Like that clearly the ankle issue is not a good one for him, but I feel like with how good he has looked, that decision has almost been made for Lane Kiffin.
yeah. No, I that's how I see it. I mean, I guess you really never know what the dynamic was with the two quarterbacks, as they were rolling into the season and how much separation there was. But when the backup guy goes in and lights it up and looks smooth and looks efficient, sometimes you just roll with the hot hand.
Well, he's not turning it over the way that Austin Simmons was.
That's right.
Simmons was throwing it to the other team. So I don't think Ole Miss is nearly as good on defense as they were a year ago, but we haven't seen LSU find a rhythm on offense. And they're really struggling to run it efficiently. And that passing game with Garrett Nussmeier, it hasn't been as explosive as everyone was expecting it to be. But the LSU defense has been elite so far. There's also one thing with this game I do not know how to factor into the analysis. It's it's not nothing. It appears Lane Kiffin's daughter is dating LSU linebacker Whit Weeks. I'm sure Kiffin was aware with this, but he's been having some fun with it. Did you see his tweet?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Take the over.
Hey, I like that. I think that's awesome. Yeah, that's a very interesting dynamic, and the timing is fascinating as well.
Maybe
Uh,
Kiffin's daughter's just playing some mind games. Maybe they're not actually dating. I don't know what's going on there, but it's become quite the storyline heading into this game.
yeah, pretty unique situation. Yeah, I don't know how you factor that in, and what exactly that means. You could probably use it as some head games out there on the field, perhaps, but I don't know. Let me ask you this. And I'm with you. LSU's defense has looked excellent. With the offenses and kind of what we know of them now in hindsight, does that change your opinion at all on LSU's defense, or at least have you questioning if it's exactly as good as it looks?
I know what you mean because Clemson has just falling apart, and
Yeah.
then Florida's offensive attack continues to be a disaster. They haven't seen anything like what Ole Miss is about to throw at them with the tempo, the RPO stuff, pushing it down the field. I, I, I like the over. Like
Right.
I think there's going to be some points scored in this game by both offenses, and I just does Lane Kiffin is he going to see red and make some coaching mistakes, or has the daughter situation, is it going to give them the ultimate clarity for play calling? I don't know. I don't know how to factor it in, but I like Ole Miss to win the game.
Yeah.
I
Me
went
too.
back and forth on this one because I think LSU's the more talented team, and I do think they'll be able to run it more efficiently in this game against that Ole Miss defense. But I just think the Rebels are coming into this game with a ton of confidence. Chambliss is playing really, really well. You have to assume that environment's going to make things tough on LSU. And you kind of like you mentioned, Ted, this will by far be the most explosive offense that LSU defense has seen. So I like Ole Miss. I may end up regretting it because I do think that LSU, if you just line up the rosters, is a better team. But this is college football, man. Environment matters, momentum, like all those things. Give me Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss.
Yeah. And LSU is, at least it feels like over the last couple of years, been a team that comes together kind of late. And it still feels, at least to me, like they haven't hit that full stride so far. Now, what's the reasoning behind that? Not exactly sure, but yeah,
I think their offensive line's not very good. I think that's their issue.
yeah,
That,
that hurts. I
that
don't know.
hurts.
I no result in this would be shocking. If Ole Miss wins by a couple of scores, wouldn't shock me. If LSU, okay, yep, they're for real. If they win by a couple of scores, wouldn't shock me. I expect a close, kind of like you said, both teams going to score a lot of points. I think it'll probably come down to the fourth quarter, but yeah, I'm edge Ole Miss.
We're both laying it with the Rebs. How about that? All right, on to the next game. Maybe the biggest game of the college football season so far. Number 6 Oregon heads to number 3 Penn State. This will be 6:30 NBC. Penn State is currently a 3.5 point favorite. And I didn't look this up, but this has to be a whiteout game, right?
I think it is.
It's got to
Yeah,
be. It's got to be.
I do think I heard someone say that.
But clearly a massive game, a huge game for James Franklin and the Penn State program because, Ted, this is supposed to be their year. And if you are a national championship caliber team, this is a game you win. And I say that fully aware that the team that won the Natty last year lost their last regular season game. But it feels like Penn State needs this one. Like coaches, players, fan base, like they need it. They need to see them be able to get this done. And if they do, like that's the thing that propels them forward in this season. But it feels like all the pressure is on Penn State in this game.
Yeah, I agree. The strange thing about this one to me is, you know, we are we're 4 weeks into the season and there's been a lot of stuff happen. Seen a lot of teams, there's been a lot of great games. I don't know anything about either one of these teams. That neither one of them have really played anyone of note that's tested them at all. So, yeah, Oregon has played really well. They've scored a ton of points. The offense is, functioning just like you would expect. Penn State has been Penn State, and they've done kind of what they always do to their opponents. But I mean, whatever questions you had about either one of these teams before the season, you haven't had a chance to answer any of those yet, in my opinion, with the teams that they've played. So, kind of flying blind to a large degree going into this one. I just slightly favor the home team here. And, I like the way that Penn State plays at home. And, if it goes the way they want, they can keep that Oregon offense sidelined and keep them out of rhythm. But it's hard to know. Like, you kind of have to see what these teams were at their peak last year to get a gauge for where you think they can go. But, these are different teams. So it's all that to say, it's just a very hard game to handicap as to what you think is going to happen. At least for me, it is.
Right. I think we're about to find out a lot about both of these squads in this one.
Yeah.
Now, Oregon has certainly played, more talented teams than Penn State. Penn State has gone cupcake, cupcake, cupcake to get ready for this game. And one thing about it is like it's just very, very difficult for me to pick against Stan Lanning. He's become one of my favorite coaches in the sport, and he's got this incredibly talented roster. And I say that knowing it's very, very difficult to go on the road and beat a really good team like Penn State, especially when you're playing Dante Moore at quarterback, who is so talented, but relatively inexperienced, right? And I have to assume that the Penn State defense is going to find some ways to make more uncomfortable than he's been up to the point in this season.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of banking on Moore making some mistakes in this game. So I'm taking Penn State. I don't know if I love that hook, Ted.
No.
That hook on that 3.5, don't love it. But I honestly hate the pick. But because I don't really trust Drew Aller in these types of games. And I don't really trust Penn State to be as explosive as Oregon offensively. But it's just a straight up vibes pick. Wide out, massive game for the program and what it means for the season. And James Franklin, he only loses games where he's the underdog.
Right.
He wins all the games where they're favored.
Right.
So that's the three reasons. Like Penn State's got more experience at quarterback. The crowd is going to be going nuts for this game. And I think they can make things a little more difficult on Dante Moore than what he's seen so far this season. So I'll lay the 3.5 very reluctantly. You got to win the whiteout if you're supposed to be a national championship caliber team, right? Can't lose the whiteout.
What's interesting to me is I think at least from what I mean, I haven't been able to be in a locker room or go to practice or anything, but Lanning has a very good knack for taking whatever the opponent feels like their edge, kind of off-field edge coming into the game, whatever that is, and use it as fuel for his football team. And I imagine he's going to do that in this game. It's weird. I see this as either Penn State wins a really close field goal game or Oregon wins it kind of going away.
That line feels it's like it's a blinking red light to take Oregon plus 3.5.
That's where I'm going. I feel like it's a field goal if Penn
where
State
I want to be. It's where I want to be, Ted. But the vibes, I'm just going on the vibes, man.
Vibes. Hey, sometimes all you need are vibes, right?
Fair enough.
And Penn State needs some good vibes in this one. I will say that Penn State wins the game, but if I'm betting this one, I'm taking Oregon in the points.
Okay, that's fair. I like that we're on different sides of that game. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our third game.
I'm kind of taking all sides in that game.
I think I made a great case to take the points with Oregon, and then I said I'm taking Penn State. So it is what it is, man. All right, last game here. Number 17, Alabama goes to number 5, Georgia. That'll be 6:30 on ABC. Georgia is currently a 3.5 point favorite. It's kind of weird seeing a number 17 and next to Bama's name, by the way. Still kind of jarring seeing two
I know.
digits next to Alabama. But both teams coming off a bye. Both teams should be ready, rested. I mean, this is what a matchup, Ted. These two programs have set the standard in college football for over what, the last 15, 16 years. Can't wait for this game. These two programs in prime time. Yes, I know where I will be on Saturday night. I will be on my couch watching this one and Oregon-Penn State side by side. I cannot wait.
Please, please, football gods. And I don't know if you're a YouTube TV guy, but I am. Can we please get multi-view with this game, with these two games? Please, that's all I ask. Multi-view. But there's a very strong tendency for YouTube to pick the exact games that I want to watch together and not allow it for whatever reason.
You should be able to just pick your games.
I know. There must be some like the networks, we don't want I I don't know how it works, but hopefully we can watch them both at the same time.
Alabama has bounced back nicely from the whooping they took from Florida State in the opener. Ty Simpson has been slinging that thing to Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard. I like watching the guy play. I think he's a fun player. I like the way that he lets it rip, but he's fun. But I I worry about their lack of balance offensively. They didn't run it well against Florida State, and honestly didn't run it very well against Wisconsin. So can Bama can they produce the explosive plays against the Georgia defense that we saw Tennessee produce? I'm not so sure. Like a couple of those huge plays for Tennessee against Georgia was just Chris Brazzell going up and mossing dudes, you know?
Yeah.
So can Ryan Williams do that? Jeremy Bernard, who's been really good. I are they going to make those types of plays? Maybe they do. I don't know, but this game feels like a pick 'em to me. I just think Georgia really showed me something staying in the fight the way that they did against Tennessee, man. I I can't go against the dogs at home in this one. And I still I don't think Bama's really figured out all the issues, you know?
Yeah. I I have to roll with Georgia, who has appeared to be the more complete football team. Um, Now, are they what they've been in the past in comparison to everyone else? No, I don't think so. I think the gap is there may not be a gap, frankly. Um, but I don't have the confidence in Alabama right now. I'd like to say that like Alabama kind of reminds me they're like a zombie right now where everyone knows they're dead, but they may be actually a little bit more dangerous as a dead program than as, operating how they've got everyone in the world's attention. No one feels like they have an edge. But right now, it's a rare situation where the country's sleeping on the program, right? And there's reason for that. Don't get me wrong, but I really like what I've seen from their passing attack. I don't know that they have the balance to be able. If this one was in Tuscaloosa, I'd probably pick Alabama. But with it being in Georgia and the way Georgia's program continues to function at a high level in all areas, I got to roll with Georgia. But, you know, the other part of it is this. I don't know how you see it, but I think Georgia's going to make the SEC championship game. Okay. And I want Oklahoma to make the SEC championship game. So I think it's really a race between us and everyone but Georgia. And I want everyone but Georgia to accumulate losses. I think that helps Oklahoma's case to maybe have a chance to be there at the end. So I think Georgia's going to win that game, and I'm also rooting for Georgia to win that game.
Would you? Well, we'll get back to the breakdown, the analysis for Bama Georgia. Would you rather OU play in the SEC championship game or OU host a first round playoff game?
Host a first round playoff game.
That's where I'm at too. And you best believe, buddy, I've thought of, a 9-3 OU with a loss to Texas where John Mateer did not play in the game is absolutely in a college football playoff and probably hosting a first round game. Because the committee would have to take that into account. It's like, they lost to Texas, but Mateer didn't play. Who cares?
Yeah.
I've thought about it.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time thinking about it.
I think everyone's been like, as soon as they heard that thought, I mean, everyone's head went to the same place. Probably.
Well, I think a 9-3 Oklahoma coming into the season, we were going, 9-3 Oklahoma makes the playoff. A 9-3 Oklahoma with the loss where John Mateer doesn't play in the game. What are we even talking about? I think the Sooners are in. Now, would they be hosting? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. And the 3 losses matter as well. You know, it's almost better if you lose a game to someone who's not a contender, because it's hard to put someone at 9-3 in when the 3 teams you lost to are playoff teams.
I see what you're saying, but
some of the playoff teams.
I see what you're saying, but I disagree.
Well,
you want your losses to be as good as possible. I don't know,
but no, I totally understand that. But if like at the end of the season you lose to Alabama and LSU late, Texas without, I mean, you have to, like, you need to look good going in. Not, I don't know. Who knows?
If
win them
OU's going to lose games, do it while John Mateer's not playing.
That's right.
That's maybe the best thing. Okay, back to Bama, Georgia. We're back. Kirby is 1-6 against Bama. With that in mind, Ted, do you know the last time Georgia lost at home?
I don't.
Their last home loss was to South Carolina on October 14th, 2019.
Woo.
And that was a double overtime loss. Do you know their last loss in regulation at home?
No.
Georgia Tech on November 26th, 2016.
Woo.
Georgia has won 33 straight at home. 20 of those have been SEC games. They've won 20 SEC games in a row at home.
Was 26, what was Kirby's first year there? Was that 2016?
Yeah. I think this is his 10th season there.
Wow. That's crazy.
So this game feels like a pick 'em to me. And I think Georgia really showed me something when it came to them staying in the fight in that Tennessee game and just finding a way. The lack of balance for Bama's offense. I think Kirby will have a plan for Williams and Bernard. So give me the dogs at home. And I think I actually like the over 52.5 in this game. I think there's going to be some points scored.
Yeah. They're going to have to get Ryan Williams going down the field and kind of think what we saw with Tennessee. That feels like the biggest or maybe only weakness that Georgia has is if you can push it down the field on them. It's interesting because, like, this is the measuring stick game for the elite of the SEC. And it looked like last year, okay, let's see where these two programs stand up. And Georgia had Alabama beat. And somehow Alabama won that football game. And part of me thinks that, there's a lot of fuel for Georgia to show that they truly have separated. We'll see how it goes. I'm taking Georgia.
Okay. It's going to be an awesome, awesome weekend of college football.
Very good. And it's a good one on a bye week to be able to sit back and enjoy.
If only Mateer's thumb was just.
Maybe we'll have surgery. Some, like, amazing news with it, right? Like, hey, Things were great. He's going to be back before you know
Let's hope.
it.
Positive vibes only. Let's hope.